Good morning. This is BC Dave here with a video from the Philippines. It's been a few weeks going through some personal stuff out here, and one of them has to do with our house, and this is what we're going to talk about today. Right now, we're not exactly for sure where we are in the step. We just messaged our lawyer to find out where we're at, and the response was, we'll get back to you on the status. It's been a long time. We've bought in our house in October. We went through a lot of stuff through the banks, and got our lawyer to help us through all this. And I thought we would be done, just after New Year's. But then it was brought to my attention that we had to go through a few more steps. Yes, surprisingly. There's a lot of red tape when it comes to getting your title for your house. And so during the new year, we were paying our milliard tax property for 2023. It's fine. We paid the money, to put that tax through. And there were three more steps. So I'm looking at notes here too. So 3 more steps that we still need to go through. I'll run down them here. So this video might be a little bit long, and I apologize for that. But I just want to get through because it's very important, and this could probably put your decision on renting instead of buying in the Philippines. There's just so much red tape, and there's just so much to go through. Not like in Canada that I'm used to, or in the US, where after, you go to a lawyer, you have the lawyer who takes care of everything, and, you get your title, you have, the money being paid out, money coming back if you're a seller, everything happens quickly. This is not quickly. This takes months, if not years. And I was told by the lawyer that the way we're doing it is the quickest that it can get done. Because I had this conversation with the lawyer saying that this is ridiculous. It should not take 6 months to get our title from our house that we paid for. And the lawyer told me that this is the quickest way. That if the title was with the developer, it could take up to 2 years to get your title. My brother-in-law said that it took him 2 years to get their title. I just think it's ridiculous, but I know it's the way it's done in the Philippines. And I know I'm going to get some comments now about, hey, if you don't like it, go back to where I came from, which is just ridiculous in itself. I came here to make a life, and we are going to do this. And I'll explain the reasoning why we bought a house instead of renting as well. Anyway, so the other steps that we have to go through are the BIR, Bureau of Internal Revenue. And this is where you pay the capital gain tax and the document stamp tax. Yes, document stamp tax. So during negotiations, we've usually the buyer will pay out the capital gain tax and the document stamp, but we negotiated with the sellers that they would pay out the capital gain tax and we would pay the document stamp. So that step is done. We finished that. The next step is what they call CAR, C-A-R. It's a Certificate of Authorizing Registration. There's just so many certificates and so many, bureaus we have to go through to go each step. And you can't get everything done at the same time. You can't proceed to the next step until the last step is done. So we are, I think, in between this step and the next step, which is the RD, which is Registry of Deeds, for the issuance of the new title. Each of these steps takes up to 21 business days. Not just 3 weeks, but 21 business days. So it's been a long time. We're trying to follow up, every 3 or 4 weeks to, hey, where are we? And this is where we're at right now. And then after the RD step, we have 10 days for the local which is all in all, sorry, I'm just reading my notes here. And 10 days for local. I'm not sure what I meant by that. Just reading through all this. It's so frustrating when you're reading through all these steps that you have to go through. So this is where we're at. We're going through the registry of deeds right now, I hope. And then 10 days after, it's 21 days for that to go through, and then 10 days after that to go through the local. So I'm hoping, within the next month or two, this will be all done with. So, I've had a lot of comments saying, why'd you buy? You shouldn't buy, you should just rent. And the reason why we bought was, I don't want overhead. My wife and I, we discussed, we don't want to have to pay out a rental. I'd like to own the house afterwards. I want to be able to do things to our own home, if we want to do some, renovations. And I don't want to be spending $25,000 in rent. And, that's just the average for, if you want to rent a place in the area that we're in. You can probably get something okay for about, $15,000 to $20,000. But are you safe? I don't know. And if you want to live like in a condo in Makati or Parañaque or Pasay, you could be paying up to $30,000 a month in rent. And those places, you only got like a 1-bedroom, maybe a 2-bedroom place, much smaller than the houses in Cavite that we're in at the moment. But I wanted a place that was mine, or in this case, my wife's. Yes, it's in her name. I'm not worried about my wife screwing me over. We've been married for 22 years. It was my idea to come to the Philippines, not my wife's. And, we have some investments back in Canada. So if something does happen where we got to go back, we would go back on our investments and use that money to live on and start a new life again in Canada. But I don't want to do that. I want to have a life here in the Philippines. And this is why we bought our house, because we didn't want any big overhead. We just wanted to pay our bills, our electrical, our water, our Wi-Fi. And, this is where, people don't understand where I'm coming from, but I understand where they're coming from. And especially now, with all these steps we have to go through, paying for this lawyer to do all this stuff for us. We had to sign a special power of attorney so the lawyer can go into these government buildings and apply for all these things that we had to apply for, these certificates, these registries. And that's how we want to live, We want our own place. We don't want to fork out so much money. And, this way, yes, we eat a big chunk of our money by buying the house. But it's ours. Well, hopefully when we get our deed of sale, our deeds for, our title. And I guess at that point is when we can actually call it ours. But it's pretty stressful when you're going through all this, because you're wondering, am I getting ripped off? Am I getting scammed? Always on the back of my mind. I don't think I am. My wife doesn't think she is, because, the lawyer's responding to us. And so I really think we're going through the quick steps. But in the Philippines, there's just so much red tape. There's just so many steps that need to be fine-tuned to where you just go in and everything should be just hammered out quickly. Yes, we're not in Canada. Things are different, run differently in every country. But to be fair, it should not take longer than 1 month to have all this sorted out. It definitely should be more streamlined. And and then I still haven't even applied for my visa yet, because we have issues with our marriage certificate, which is another video. I'm not going to bore you guys in this video. I've already gone a bit higher than I like to go. But that's where we're at. And again, sorry for the delay. I'd like to put out a video once a week if I can. And yeah, next week will be about our marriage certificate and how we're not technically married in the Philippines. Anyways, guys, I appreciate all the comments. You know, any kind of helpful hints or tips, tricks, or experiences you've had in the Philippines here in regards to the housing, rental, you know, purchasing, you know, please let me know. You know, and if you got to be that one guy who's got to be, well, if you don't like it, move to the Philippines, you know, keep those comments yourself. But if you feel the urge to put in there, please go ahead and put that comment in there. I'm just going to ignore you. And maybe even talk about you in my next video and saying how much of an ass you are. But anyways, take care, guys. It's a beautiful Monday morning here in the Philippines. Look at that sky. All right, until next time, BC Dave signing off.